So you probably have heard about Amazon dropshipping. Maybe you dropship on eBay, maybe you just heard about it online, but you probably know that with Amazon dropshipping, you can make a full-time income from pretty much anywhere in the world as long as you have an internet connection. And today I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to actually get started. I'm going to go through some of the most basic steps, but by the end of this video, you should have a good idea of how to actually get started. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Alright, and if you don't know what dropshipping is, I would suggest you go back and watch my last video, which explains everything you need to know about what dropshipping is. So I'll go ahead and link that somewhere up here. But today, let's go ahead and talk about how you can actually get started dropshipping on Amazon. So the first thing I want to talk about is things that we need to think about before getting started, because we don't want to jump into this business model just because it sounds great. Now you can make money and you can work location independently, but if this business model doesn't fit your life, I wouldn't suggest you to get started with it. So the first thing I think you should think of is, do you have enough time to actually start this business? I know a lot of people get into this type of business thinking that it's going to be a side income, which I think it can be in the future. But when you're first starting out, you really have to dedicate a lot of time to building the business. Even if you just want to make something as small as like $500 or $1,000, there's still a lot of time that goes into learning the process and actually executing on the process. So if you're going to start off with this business, you want to make sure that you have time. If you're working a 9-to-5 job, are you going to be able to commit those extra hours after work to work on this business? And if not, I would really suggest you maybe to wait until you have enough time. I don't want you to jump into this and then be scarce on time and not be able to actually achieve anything and then give up way too early. And going along with that, you really need to be serious about this in the beginning, because like I said, it can be a part-time income, it can be a side hustle, but it will be later on down the line. In the beginning, it's really going to be a full-time hustle. Even though you're not going to be making money right away, it's still going to be a full-time hustle. So I want to make sure that you're actually serious about doing it and you have enough time to do it before you actually get started. Now, if you do have enough time and you are very serious about doing this, then the second thing we need to think about is, do you have enough funds to get started? And I know a lot of people pitch this as an easy way to get started with no money, but I would suggest that you actually do have some money before you get started, because of the fact that you're going to need to buy inventory. And the way that Amazon works is they only pay out every 2 weeks. So you're not going to get your payment for those items for at least 2 weeks after the tracking has been uploaded. So we don't want to go into this with no money. And you don't have to actually have just cash on hand. What you can do is have a credit card. Because you have already sold the item, there's not really much risk when it comes to using a credit card in this situation. Now, if you're doing something like FBA where you're private labeling a product, I wouldn't suggest putting that on a credit card. But because we have already made the sale on Amazon when we're drop shipping, it's easy for us to just use the credit card, wait for the payment to come in, and then pay that credit card off at the end of the month. And as far as how much money do you actually need, well, that kind of depends on how much time you're going to be spending on the business and how quickly you want to grow the business. Now, a lot of the times people start with maybe like a $5,000 credit limit, but you could start with a lot less. You can start with a $1,000 limit, a $2,000 limit, or if you do have cash and you want to invest your own personal money into it, you can use that as well. But when you're first getting started, I think a $2,000 limit minimum would be good to have. There's other things like Payability, which is a program where they'll basically lend you 80% of whatever you made that day, and they'll put that in your account the following day. So that way that you have some money to pay for the products. But even then, I would still suggest having a line of credit or having some cash to back it up. With a small credit limit, you're gonna have to make sure that you monitor your sales at all times. because it is kind of easy on Amazon to make too many sales in the beginning, you're going to want to make sure that you limit those sales and make sure that you're able to pay off that credit card in time so that you're not paying any interests on that credit card. Now, another great option for people who might not have enough startup capital would be to start dropshipping on eBay. eBay is a lot more laid back and lax than Amazon is, and you're able to actually get your money the day of the sale. So if I got a sale right now, money goes into my PayPal account. It takes 1 business day to go to my bank account, and then I can use that money to buy inventory. Some people will have a PayPal jail in the beginning if they have a new account, but overall, in general, when it comes to eBay, you're going to be able to get your money pretty quick. And another great thing about eBay is you're actually going to get some practice drop shipping. Because Amazon is so strict on their metrics, you don't want to mess up your Amazon account because you could get suspended very easily in the beginning and your account could be wiped away forever. So if you get a little bit of experience in with eBay, it's going to be easier for you to make that transition over to Amazon. So if it's your first time doing any type of business or online business, I would actually suggest you to start on eBay. Now, I have a couple of videos on my channel, but I don't really focus on eBay dropshipping content anymore, but I'll leave some suggestions down below for some other channels that you can go ahead and check out and get started on eBay. So if you have the time and you're serious about this, you have the funds and you have the confidence to jump right into Amazon, then the last thing you really need to think about is, why are you starting this? You need to have a why. And I know it sounds kind of corny, guys. It did when I first started as well, but I really wish that I had honed in on that and really wrote down my why from the get-go. I think it would have helped me out a lot more. And you want to get detailed with this. You don't want a why where you're saying, why do you want to do this? It's because I want to make money. It's too vague and too general. You're going to want to actually write down a goal, right? You're going to want to write down, I want to make $5,000 a month. I want to make $10,000 a month. And don't stop there. Go all the way as, I want to make $5,000 a month so I can spend $1,000 on this apartment, $1,000 on this hobby that I have, or whatever it may be. Whatever is important to you. Because when you have that why and you have it written down, you're able to see it, even post it up somewhere. I've got these little Post-its. I put these up all around the house, and I'll just write little things on them because I look at it every day. And if you have your why and you write it somewhere, you put it up on your wall, you're going to see it every day, and it's going to motivate you during those times when the business isn't going good or you mess something up or whatever it may be, right? So it's just going to be a further motivation, and I think it's really going to help you get through all the hurdles. So after you thought of all that stuff and you still are ready to jump into it, now what we're going to do is we're going to be signing up for our Amazon account. Now, if you don't have an Amazon account yet, don't worry, you can sign up for one. And there's going to be 2 types of accounts that you can sign up for. There is the individual account and there is the pro account. Now, the individual account is going to be charging you, I think it's $1 for every sale, and the pro account is just $40 a month. So don't even worry about the individual selling account. It's not worth it. I can go through all the details, but I don't want to bore you guys. Just go directly for the pro account. It's only $40 a month, so worst case scenario, you make 0 sales the first month, you'll lose $40. But you're not going to make 0 sales and you're not going to lose $40, so don't worry about it, okay? So sign up for the pro account. Once you have your pro account, you're going to have to go through all your settings. So you've got your return settings, you've got your shipping settings, you've got to input your bank account so that they can give you your money every 2 weeks. You also have to input a credit card so that you can pay for that seller account fee, the Amazon Pro account fee. Also, any other fees that they might need to charge you or whatever, right? So you have to have a credit card on file at all times or they won't disperse your money, and you need to have your bank account attached so that they can give you that payment every 2 weeks. So another thing to think about with your Amazon account is that if you already have an account and you've done some sales on it, or if you have done Amazon FBA in the past, there's going to be a bit more credibility to your account, and Amazon is less likely to flag your account when you start making sales. But if you don't, it's okay. You can start off with a new account. You just have to be extra careful in the beginning because they're not as relaxed as something like eBay. they're very, very strict with the metrics. So if you get an A to Z claim, a negative feedback, your shipping metrics are messed up, there's a high chance that they're going to flag your account and ask you for a bunch of information that you might not have. So with that being said, if you're able to send some items into Amazon FBA, I know that's a little bit out of the scope of this video, but if you're able to send a couple items into Amazon FBA, do so. It'll give your account some credibility and you'll have a better chance of surviving when doing dropshipping. And if you guys want me to go deeper into like setting up the return settings and setting up the shipping settings and all that, or even just starting an Amazon account, just let me know. I'll make another video on that, but I don't want to bore you too much in that. I'm pretty sure you guys know that you have to start an Amazon account to dropship on Amazon, but I just wanted to throw it out there and give you a couple of things that go along with that. All right, so now that you've got your Amazon account open, we need to select a supplier. There's a lot of things that go into looking for a supplier, so I'm going to give you some of the pros and cons of a couple different suppliers. I'll give you some recommendations. I'll give you some recommendations on suppliers that I don't think that you should be using. But first of all, let's go over what you should look for in a supplier. So because I live in Thailand, one of the main things that I look for is ease of talking to the customer service. So for example, if you go on Walmart or if you go on Home Depot, you're able to go on a live chat and talk with the customer service reps, and they're able to help you out right away and fix any issues. Now, if you go to, I think it's Bed Bath & Beyond, they have a live chat, but it's only during the US business hours. So for me, because Thailand's time zone is completely different, it's going to be harder for me to work on customer service issues. I'm going to have to get up early or stay up late at night. So I like using suppliers that have a chat box that's available, or even a phone call that's available during pretty much 24/7, right? Or within the times that I'm awake. Now, if you're in the US or in a time zone that's similar to the US, it's going to be easy for you to contact them via phone during the business hours. Another thing that I look for in a supplier is, this is pretty obvious, but I thought I'd mention it, is that when you're going on Amazon looking for products, it's easy for you to find profitable products that are sold on that supplier. And it's nice when you can find a supplier that has a brand exclusive and you can sell that item on Amazon. Because it's only sold at that supplier, like let's say Mainstays is sold at Walmart, you're able to sell that on Amazon, and the only other people you're competing with are other drop shippers. So there's not really a chance for people to wholesale those items. So yeah, I like finding suppliers that have a lot of items on Amazon that sell. And I know that sounds very basic, but there are some suppliers that I go on. I think maybe like Staples I'll go on there, and I can't really find anything that's profitable. And the main reason for that is because a lot of those items are actually sold at Walmart. So Walmart is usually going to have the best price when it comes to like office supplies. So if I use Staples, if I use Walgreens or something, their prices are typically going to be higher than Walmart. So some recommendations on suppliers that I think are good are Walmart. I like Bed Bath & Beyond, Dick's Sporting Goods, Home Depot, Lowe's. And then some of the suppliers that I don't recommend are going to be like Target or AliExpress. And I know a lot of people will talk about using AliExpress, and that's a popular question that comes up. So with AliExpress, I don't think it's a good idea because the items are being shipped all the way from China. The chance of them getting here and being on time is not very high, and most of the time when customers are buying a product on Amazon, they're expecting to get it within the week, right? Even if it's not a Prime item, they still think that it should be about 5 to 7 days for them to get a product. So if you're going to be shipping from China, most of the shipping times are going to be 12 to 23 days for e-packet. So I wouldn't risk it and use AliExpress. Now I know there's high margins on there because you're getting items for cheaper and you can sell them pretty high on Amazon. But the thing with drop shipping on Amazon is that you need to mitigate your risk when it comes to metrics, because metrics are your most important thing as a merchant fulfilled seller on Amazon. Another thing that I'm going to look for is benefits of a supplier. So one of the benefits, like I talked about, was having exclusive brands. Another one I like to look for is cashback advantages. So if I can find websites that have cash back. And that's another good one to have. There are certain credit cards that give you, I think it's 5% on office supply stores. So if you were using Staples or Office Max or any of those type of office stores, you can use that credit card and get extra cash back with that. And then another one would be the customer service. Because you're going to have to always contact the supplier and deal with the customer service, you're going to want to find a company that has good customer service. A good example of this would be Home Depot. They have amazing customer service. Every time you talk to them on the chat, they get back to you right away. They always have a good solution for you. They're willing to work with you. They're fluid. It's not super strict. So I really like Home Depot's customer service. And yeah, those are some of the benefits that I kind of look for when I'm looking for a supplier. Now, some of the things I look to avoid when it comes to suppliers is that if they don't offer like return labels, free return labels, I'm not going to be using them. I know Overstock, depending on if you're buying it from Overstock directly or from a third party on Overstock, they might not offer you a return label if it's just a buyer's remorse return. So I always look for a supplier that gives you free return labels and has a long return period. So I know Home Depot and Lowe's and I think Bed Bath & Beyond, those all have 90-day return policies. So if you have a 30-day return policy on Amazon, it's easy for you to get those products returned back to the supplier within those 90 days. And again, if you guys want me to make another video going through suppliers and giving you some more recommendations or things that I look out for, I can go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and let me know in the comments below. I do have one video on my channel, which I'll link somewhere up here. And it is going over some of the suppliers, but I think I do need to do an update on that because I did that video like 6 or 7 months ago and my mind's kind of changed on some of that stuff. So I'll probably end up making another video about that in the future, but just go ahead and let me know in the comments. And one last thing when you're thinking about suppliers, make sure that you just pick one supplier and stick with them for a little while and try to understand how that supplier works and go off of the recommendations that people give you. You don't have to necessarily go off of what I've said so far, but search around, see what people use, dropshipping on eBay, dropshipping on Amazon, and then go off of what people recommend, pick one of them, and then stick with that one for a while because you don't want to have a bunch of different suppliers in your store. I only use 2 on Amazon, and I think that might be one too many. I honestly just want to move down to 1 supplier. But I think that having 2 suppliers max is what you should do, and that's if you're advanced, right? So if you're just starting off, just pick 1 supplier, stick with that one, learn the supplier, and just focus on understanding the whole process. All right, so now that you've actually decided that you're going to be doing this, you've got enough time, you're serious, you've got enough funds, you've got your why, you've got a little bit of experience, you know how the process works, you have signed up for your Amazon account, and you have chosen your supplier. Now it's time for us to actually get started dropshipping on Amazon. And the way that we're going to do that is we need to first do some product research to find some items to put on our store. So I do have a couple of product research videos. I think I have 2 or 3 right now. I'll link them above and I'll link them down in the description. But go check out those 2 product research videos. I think they're about an hour each. Go through those. If you have questions on those, you could drop a comment here or in those videos comments or DM me here on Instagram and I'll make sure to answer all your questions. So first thing you need to do is product research. And I have a couple of students here in Thailand that I'm teaching how to dropship, and I had them first do 50 items researched to start off. Now, I don't want you to list all 50 of those items. I just want you to get in the mode of product research and get the research muscle down, right? So I want you to actually get in there and try to find 50 solid items. Now, some of them you're not going to be able to list. Some of them are not going to be good items. So you just want to have a little bit of a built up stock of items that you're able to list, but you don't have listed yet. So let's go ahead and have you start off with doing 50 product research items and just follow the criteria that I have in those videos. But the gist of it is that we're going to find items that have a low BSR, they have low competition, and they have a high margin, right? That's the ideal situation. And we want to have it to where we don't have that many items in our store. So every item that we list, we want to make sure that it's actually going to sell. And if it doesn't sell, we'll end up deleting it later down the line. But like I said, let's start off with 50 researched items, and next thing we're going to do is list those items. Now, because I do pretty much everything manual on my store, I don't have a repricer, I don't have an inventory software. The only thing I use is Feedback Genius, which is just a feedback email type software, but everything else I do myself. I don't have any software that lists the item or anything like that, right? So when we are drop shipping on Amazon, if you're going to be following the manual method like I am, which I think you should, I think that in the beginning, when you have those 50 items, you're going to need to create an active listing sheet in your Google Sheet. So I'm going to bring something up here on the screen, and I'll show you guys what my active listing sheet is actually going to look like. So we've got the supplier link here that's going to go directly to the product page on the supplier's website. We've got the Amazon link, which is going to go to all offers on Amazon. That's very important. It's going to go to all offers, not just the product page. And then we have the ASIN, we have the SKU, and here you can see the SKU I have is the item number dash, then the first letter of the supplier that I'm using. Then we've got the supplier price. This is the price at our supplier's website, the Amazon price that we're going to be selling it for, the multiplier, and the profit. And then I'll show you guys also how to get the quantity available on the supplier site. Basically all you do, you go on their website, you type in $9.99 for an item, add to cart, go to your cart, and it's going to tell you how many they have left in stock. Now, not all suppliers do this, but I know Home Depot does it for sure. And then based off of that, we can change our quantity on Amazon. And the reason that we're making this active listing sheet is because this is where we're going to be taking care of all of our inventory. So we're going to have our supplier link, our Amazon link, we're going to have the price, the quantity, and this is where we go in and we keep track of everything, right? It's also going to double as where we put our product research at. So we'll go through here and we'll add all of the items that we found into this sheet, and then we can add them up into our inventory on Amazon. And the way that we actually add items on Amazon is pretty simple. So all you do is go to a listing, you go right up to the top and click on sell. I have one to sell, you can click that, and then you fill out all the details. So you just have to fill out the SKU, the price that you're going to be selling it at, the quantity that you have, and that's it. Because we're already selling on listings that already exist on Amazon, we're not creating new listings. We're not creating titles, we're not uploading photos, we're not creating descriptions or anything like that. We're already hopping on listings on Amazon that are already for sale. So all you got to do is click on that sell button and then add in all the details, and your item should be added into your inventory. Now there's going to be some items that you're not able to list because of the brand, because of the category, depending on your account. So for those items, just skip them for now. There's other ways to get those items added in, and I'll do that later down the line. But just starting off right now, take that list of 50 items that you have in your active inventory sheet. Try to add maybe 10 of those to your store. I think 10 is a good number that you can monitor over the next couple of days. So just get those added into your store, get them live. If you have any questions on that, like I said, you can always message me on Instagram or comment below, and I'll make sure to get back to you as soon as possible. But get those 10 items added into your inventory. And then now let's go ahead and talk about monitoring those items. So as you're doing your product research, if you find an item that's profitable, you want to also check the quantity available on the supplier's website. So if you have an item and there's only 5 left on their website, that's not an item that I would necessarily want to add to my store, because the chances of it going out of stock in the next day or two is pretty high. So I want to find items that have a high quantity available. Now, if you're just starting off, like I mentioned earlier in the video, a lot of what's going to determine if you're able to continue to sell on Amazon is if your metrics are good. So if your metrics are messed up, if you have to cancel items because they're out of stock at the supplier's website, then chances of you selling on Amazon is going to be pretty low. So what you need to do in the beginning is really find items that have a high quantity on the supplier's website, so you have less chance of them going out of stock. and less chance of you canceling an order. So a good number to look at would be maybe 50 or 60 at least in stock on the supplier's website. And then later, when you get more experience and understand how the flow goes, you can add items that have less than 50. But starting off, I think 50 is a good number for a beginner to look out for. So we're going to have 10 items in our inventory. They're all going to have 50 stock or more. We want to find items that have a bit high profit margin. So don't shoot for stuff that is really low, tiny, thin, 5%, 6%, 7% margins. You want to find stuff at least 10% to add into your store. And the way that you calculate that is basically Amazon takes 15% of the sale price. So if you have an item and it's $100, Amazon's going to take $15. So that means you subtract the 15 and you're going to have $85 left. Now you need to get that item for less than $85 for you to be profitable. There's other things to consider like cashback and all that, but let's just focus on the upfront profit right now. And you're going to want to find products that are less than that $85 so that you make sure you're not breaking even, you're not losing money, you're actually making money. All right, so once you have an item that fits all of those criteria out of your 50 items, you can make sure and add that into your inventory and add it into your active listing sheet. If you have items in your active listing sheet that didn't match that criteria and you didn't add them to the store, make sure you delete it. You want to make sure that this sheet is always up to date, because this is, like I said, this is going to be your inventory. This is where you keep track of everything. So you need to make sure that this is always up to date, and any item that you delete from your inventory on Amazon, you want to make sure to delete it from here as well. Now, once we have those 10 items up, I don't want you to go do more research and add more items and do more research and add more items. I want you to really just focus on those 10 items for a couple of days. You're going to go into your inventory sheet and you're going to click on the supplier link. You're also going to click on the Amazon link. And the way you can do that is if we highlight here the supplier link and we highlight the Amazon links, we can do all 10 at once and open all 20 up in new tabs if we wanted to. Now this depends on the speed of your computer, but I like to do about maybe 5 to 10 links at a time. And if you just highlight all of those in Google Sheets, because they're right next to each other, if you right click all those highlighted ones, it's going to bring up your selection here and you can click on open links. So once you open all those links, you'll see them all pop up at the top, and you can go in and check to see what the quantity is and what the price is. And what we want to do here is we want to check the quantity available on the supplier again. And see if it changed, right? So we maybe have an item that was 50 and then now today it's 40. So we know that item moves pretty fast. And you just want to monitor that over the next couple days just to get a feel for how those items are doing, how the prices are moving. Are people on Amazon pricing that item down quickly, sorry, or are they is the price going up? Are people going in and out of the listing? You want to just be very in tune with your items, and that's the point of doing everything manually, is that you're going to go through and you're going to see these items and you're going to see how they move every day. You're going to see some items stay the same all the time. You're going to see they always stay in stock. You're going to see that the price doesn't really change on Amazon. And those items, you'll know that you don't need to check as often. Now, there's other items that go in and out of stock all the time, items that give maybe issues when shipping them out, or they don't ship fast. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong with items, and you want to be very in tune with every item in your store, because to be frank, with Amazon, you don't really need that many items. The students that I'm teaching right now, they both have clear under 1,000 items, and there's no need for us to go anywhere near the 1,000 item mark to be making a lot of money. So just keep in mind that when we're doing our active listing sheet and we're adding these items and we're monitoring them manually, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to every single item. You're very in tune with what's going on. You know how the item goes in and out of stock. You know the price changes. You know how the supplier's price changes, the Amazon price changes, all that stuff. You just want to be very in tune with those items. So that's the way that we're going to be doing it manually. And after a little while, you'll feel comfortable and you can add in more items to your store and monitor those, right? And then from that point, you know, you've got to do your orders. You got to place these orders, right? If an order actually comes in, you've got to place it. I'm going to save that though for another video. This is really just to get started dropshipping on Amazon. So I hope this really helped you guys out. Like I said throughout the video, if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments or message me here on Instagram. And I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your time. And until the next video, peace.